Fly in the ointment, Hans. The monkey in the wrench. The pain in the ass.
You know, that's what we are here at New York Giants Straight Talk. This is Tim, this is New York Giants Straight Talk, bringing you another video or a podcast or whatever you want to call it today. We are getting back to the on-camera videos next week. We also have 2 new sponsored videos coming out, so make sure you stay tuned for that. Wanted to talk about the legal tampering period, which starts on Monday. I believe it's 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Want to talk about the Giants. Of course, the Giants are looking like they're going to be running it back with Shepard. That's news just came out a little bit earlier today that he will be back in the fold on a 1-year deal with the New York Giants. Of course, he's coming off the Achilles, which is coming off the ACL. You know what? If you're bringing him back on the cheap, I don't have a problem with it. I just laugh again because people want to bring back Shepard and Hodges and Richie James and Saquon Barkley and everything else, but then they want to talk about how Daniel Jones didn't have any weapons. Okay. Makes you kind of pause and think a moment. But, the Giants are in an interesting spot. The Giants now have a little bit more cap space than they did last year. They are looking at themselves saying, where are we at? Where are we at? I mean, just honestly, where are we at right now with where we need to be? Joe Schoen always spoke about the fact that that this team was going to be in a rebuild, and this team was going to be in a rebuild for a while. And he said during the press conferences that no matter what happens or what success that they have in 2022, they will always be under the understanding that this is a rebuild. That's what this is. So is he going to stick to his plan? Is he going to stick to his guns in reference to this? He did an interview the other day, and he spoke about free agency, and he talked about the open market and free agency and everything the Giants are doing. Shane basically said, I'll give you a good example. He said, we were just talking about a player. I won't name the position or anything. We were like, I had to tell you, he said, hey, we're guessing his market might be about $2.5 million. And I was like, we can afford that. It's only a talent, $2.5 million. We can actually afford that. And he's talking about basically not going out and getting veteran minimum players. But honestly, $2.5 million is not much more than the veteran minimum, which is usually $1.5 million, $1.25 million. While we're in better free agent shape, there is more to do and more to worry about in this team and to think about it. Because you think you're going to need at least 2 guards. You're going to need at least 1 or 2 wide receivers. You're going to need, I would like to get a better pass catching and blocking tight end. Nothing against Bellinger. It's just, I think he reminds me more of a Jake Ballard, more of a Kevin Boss than anything else. Serviceable player, but I don't think he's going to be a world beater. You're going to have to probably find a running back. You're going to have to go out and get at least 2 middle linebackers, an outside linebacker, a true defensive end. You're going to have to look at possibly getting into a CB2 position. If you don't bring back Julian Love, you're going to have to get a strong safety. I think Dane Belton can fill in and fill the gaps at the strong safety position. But I also do think it's going to be interesting because of the fact that he did get benched last year, and of course it was his rookie season. But the Giants need to prioritize. And I always laugh, and I'm not making fun of anyone in general, but I always laugh when people do draft videos. I'm going to do a mock draft video. How can you do a mock draft video before you even have free agency? Only because of the fact that you need to know what you've done in free agency so you can need to know what you can do in the draft. Now, if I take a look at the draft and I take a look at free agency, you take a look at what the Giants need in the marketplace, you're definitely going to need a linebacker. You're definitely going to need at least maybe 2 linebackers. Tremaine Edmonds, everyone wants Edmonds. Everyone thinks he would be a good fit for the Giants. I know some people think he underperformed. I think he was the 16th overall pick a couple of years back. Solid player, good player. He's had 100 tackles each of his seasons that he's been in the league. I think he would be a good fit. I think it would be a great fit in a Wings defense, but the problem is I think he's going to be too expensive for the Giants. He's probably going to be looking for a deal around, probably around $15 million. I mean, the other thing is he made better strides last year, but he was a liability in coverage and has been. It's been a major weakness throughout his first 4 years in the NFL. He's a great athlete, so I think if he can learn the technique, and I think if he can learn the nuances, he's going to do much better at that. But that has been his I will say Achilles heel. And I think that the Giants, one of their major weaknesses, of course, is going to be in coverage in reference to either the tight end or the running back vis-a-vis the linebacker. He did have a coverage ranking of 86.9 in 2023, which is the third best on off-the-ball linebackers. He forced an incompletion rate of 10.3% in targets and coverage while allowing just 4 explosive receptions for the entire season, which is a .09 of targets in his coverage, ninth among linebackers. And that in the bag of chips means nothing. I always love it because Blake Martinez, people forget, was I think he was when he was with Green Bay, he was like the third ranked coverage linebacker, and the next year he was like the 28th. And then the next year he was like the 8th, and the next year he was like the 17th. It bounces up and down. I just don't think Edmonds is going to be available to the Giants. I just don't see Joe Shane taking all of his cap space, kind of like we did with Kenny G, and giving it to one guy and thinking he's going to be turning around. We need a lot of guys. We need a lot of guys. And we need not only depth, but we need starters. I'm sitting here and I keep thinking to myself, if I'm going to get an inside linebacker, I'm going David Long Jr. from Tennessee. You know, he is a guy, yes, he is undersized. I'm going to 100% say that. He is a smaller linebacker, so is Sam Mills. But he plays a downhill attacking style football that the Giants need. He attacks the ball. He does not get lost in the sauce. We've talked about it before. He's free-flowing through the water of the reeds and the vines to find the ball carrier. He is a guy that's improved every part of his years coming into the league. Every year he's improved. He's a young guy still. I think he's on an ascension. I really do. And I think he is a guy that can come in, be one of the best linebackers the Giants have, and he'll be a guy that'll be truly an attacking style for the wing. I think he'll truly do that. Now, I'm not going to lie. Sometimes during pursuit he takes poor angles. I'm not going to lie to that. And 2022 was his first full season as a linebacker, so we're starting middle linebacker, and he did pull his hamstring after week 13 and missed the rest of the season. But he is a guy that he is a guy that I feel like he can be a guy that the Giants can get at a reasonable cost, maybe anywhere between $5 to $8 million. He's a guy that will be a downhill attacking middle linebacker, which will help stuff that second level and help stop players from getting. Once we lost Blake Martinez and a running back got through that first level and we didn't slow him down enough, they were gone. He's a guy that will find the ball carrier. Of course, you also got to like TJ Edwards. I like TJ Edwards. I've liked TJ Edwards before. Philadelphia brought him back in 2022, I think for, was it $2.5 million? Or I think it was less than that. It was like, I don't know. It was like $2.15 million. I don't remember the exact number. But they got exceptional value for him. He had a career year. Again, he had the second best grade of off-the-ball linebackers at 84.4. And he is a guy that, if you take a look at it, he can do so many different things, and he does so many different things well. Does he do anything exponentially great? No. But if you look at him at the totality of his career and the totality of the way he plays the game, he does everything well enough, if not better. So I can't sit there and say he's a great rusher. I can't say he's the best tackler. I can't say that. But I can say this. He does all the little things that you want an inside linebacker to do extremely well. Again, I wonder if he is going to be out of the Giants' price range. I wonder if he is going to hit that level where the Giants are going to sit there and say, you know what, we can't really afford him completely, but maybe we look into that. I also like Denzel Perryman from the Las Vegas Raiders. He signed a two-year $6 million contract before the 2021 season, ended up making the Pro Bowl, 863 snaps, racking up 121 tackles. Another guy, a strong run stopper, a downhill guy. I always love it because he ranked ninth off the ball linebackers, and 18 tackles for a loss or no gain, which was tied for 14th. He's another guy that can fit into that attacking style of the wing defense. He's not a guy that's going to need to rush the quarterback, but he is a guy that can maintain his assignment, close the gaps, doesn't get lost in the sauce, and has an opportunity to turn around and make a difference for the Giants. And I think he might be that guy that's going to be between $5 to $8 million. But he's a guy that I think we could easily take a look at and see, and really have a chance to go after. If we take a look at the guard position, The guard and the center position are things that we really need to upgrade as well. Everyone talks about Connor McGovern of the Jets. He signed a 3-year deal for $27 million during during his first go around of free agency. He's logged, I think, 1,000 snaps for 5 straight seasons. He's a guy that could, he's a guy that's going to be a good run plugger. Open up the holes in reference to the run. He is a good general for the line itself. If you're looking for a field general that's going to help with the line assignments and the shifts and everything else, he is a professional. He would be upgrade over Feliciano or Gates. I like, of course, Nate Davis, but I think Nate Davis again is going to be another one of those guys that may be a little bit out of the Giants' reach. He's a former 3rd rounder coming over from the Tennessee Titans. Like I said, I think it's going to be interesting to see the way the Shane spends the money. Is he going to roll the dice on this season? And that's really going to kind of be the big question. Is he going to roll the dice? Is he going to sit there and say, you know what, this is what we want to do, this is what we're going to need to do? Or is he going to sit there and follow his game plan? I don't know. We won't know until what his thought process is till, a little bit down the road. I also like, if you're looking at a guard, Evan Brown. He was kind of a fill-in starter last year for a bunch of injuries in the offensive line. He also played well at both the center and guard. There was some talk in Detroit about tagging him, which they didn't do. So he's another guy at 26 years old that could potentially be not. I don't want to disparage anyone by saying bring him in on the cheap, because it's not the cheap. But he is a guy that can come in. I think it's a guy that can be a starter immediately and help upgrade the line and give it a little bit more of a calming presence. I would personally put him on the side with Evan Neal, kind of give him a little bit of that calming presence itself. Like I said, I like Ben Powers. Terrific in the pass blocking with the Raven, 26 years old. I think he needs to gain some weight and gain some strength for his run blocking, but he is a phenomenal pass blocker. Again, will he be available? I don't know, but he's another guard on my list that I was taking a look at. The other position I was thinking the Giants could run down and run after is going to be the cornerback position. I know Dean out of Tampa is everyone's pick. I personally like Byron Murphy out of he's out of Cardinals. He's with the Cardinals, and the guy's only 25 years old. He missed 8 games last year, but he missed just 2 over the other part of his career. Good, talented corner, plays the run effectively. I would not have an issue with putting him on the CB2 side. Hell, I wouldn't even have an issue if he matures a little bit and put him into the CB1. I think he would be another guy. But again, I think he might be a guy that's out of the marketplace a little bit. James Bradbury. I like James Bradbury. I really do. But was his success more of the fact that he had Darius Slay on the other side? And he did have a bounce back year with the Eagles. He had a big bounce back year. And he said he would be willing to come back to the Giants. So I don't have I love James Bradbury. I love the signing when they brought him in. But again, I don't know how much money he is going to want. $24 million sounds like a lot, but if you're giving guys $8 million a year, and even if you're only giving them $4 that first year, you've already taken it down to $20 million. You still have your 10.8 rookie allotment for your rookie pool, which only counts at $3.5 million, I guess, right now during the rule of 51. But of course, we all know the rule of 51 expires when we break camp, so you got to watch that carefully. If you want to look at someone that's had who's still young enough, I can't believe he's only 28. Shaq Griffin, coming out from the Jaguars. He's coming off a bad year. He's had a little bit of a down year because of a back injury, but he was a solid corner before that. He's another guy I think you can pull in on the cheap. And again, I don't like using that term, pull on the cheap, but I think he's a guy that you can afford. I think that's a better way to put it. He's a guy that Giants can afford. And like I said, if it's me, I am rebuilding the defense through free agency. And then I'm going to rebuild the offense through the draft. If there's I take a look at the wide receiver list. OBJ wants a ridiculous amount of money. While it would be a nice story for him to come back to the Giants can't give him $20 million. It's just not. I mean, it's just not there. I mean, I love when people talked about. I love when people talked about how he was coming out to play. He was coming back to play. Everyone knew he wasn't going to come back to play. Everyone knew that. I mean, if you're going to spend money, DJ Chark, I call him the Shark because he was a former Jaguar. He signed a 1-year, $10 million deal on the Flyer. He had a good season or a good enough season with the Lions. He's a guy that he could be a field stretcher. He could streak down the field. I know a lot of people are going to stay away from Detroit wide receivers, but he's a big guy at 6'4". He's 6'4". He's got about a 4.34 speed in the 40. He is going to be he's a deep target. He's serviceable. Problem is he going to want over that $10 million? We don't know. The question is, like I said, this all falls into Shane's hands. What direction does Shane want to go? Does he want to stay true to what he said going back, that this is, no matter what the success of this season, last season was, this was going to still continuously be a rebuild? Or is he going to try to rebuild on the fly with a tougher schedule and try to have the Giants compete again for the playoffs? I think every time you should be completing for the playoffs, but I'm curious to see which way Shane wants to go. We'll get a better idea about noon Eastern Standard Time. On Monday, we'll do a stream at 4 p.m. on Wednesday to start when free agency kicks off. Is it Wednesday? Wednesday or Thursday, whatever day it kicks off. So we will do that stream. If you didn't check out, I did a stream on Sunday with R0B. It was the Sunday Giants stream. It was a good stream. It was a good topics of conversation. If you haven't seen that, go check it out. And again, this is Tim, New York Giants Straight Talk. And you know what, guys? We're going to have a lot of fun this season. We got a lot of big stuff coming up. We got a lot of sponsored videos coming up as well. So make sure you hang out for that. And hopefully, like I said, let's get this free agency rocking and rolling. And you know what, guys? I'm out of here.